how would you call it? Asthma? Asthma. This is The Slice once again, here to haunt you and fright you. The boys are here. Cruz, like always. How are you doing, Cruz?
It's Halloween time. How do you think I'm feeling?
Oh my God, stop. Don't stop asking it. Carlos, another spooktacular day of scary stuff. You excited?
I'm excited. We're not canceling trick-or-treating just because people are scared.
How do you feel about that? They're just going to the house.
Screw them. You know what? Let's
Are you just run in there? I'm taking something. I am treating you.
I'm giving candy out.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm giving candy out.
Alright, I'll make sure to go to your house. Better give some good stuff.
Hey, you got me in the last video.
Why?
I couldn't sleep.
I did?
Yeah, so he put the recordings of Carlos sleeping.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah.
Did you hear it finally?
I have not gotten around.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
How about a guy that watches his own videos? Anyways, I am your host with the mostest, myself, Adumbi. Basically here to tell you today we are having our Tales of Terror.
Paranormal.
Not only paranormal, but
It's
Tales of
sci-fi.
Terror.
My stuff isn't paranormal.
Yeah, it's
on sci-fi.
It's sci-fi. It's terror. How can we call it terror?
Shit, that scares us.
ASMR. Do you feel it?
I got that reference.
You got the tingles?
Whoa!
Hey, language!
You're giving me junk for the last video.
You said an F word 5 times. I can't bleep that.
You said S my D.
Sumidi. I'm speaking some Chinese. Anyways, Carlos, let's start off with you since you are a man of class, vocabulary, and all types of shenanigans.
He's the total opposite of all that.
Anyways, you have a story to tell. These are more legit stories that you've heard in person. This is nothing you went to Google like the rest of us.
Yeah,
This
was something that okay. Let me set the scenario.
I threw myself under the bus too. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Let me set the scene. This person, just because I don't want to throw him under the bus. This person, let's just call him a family friend.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way, this man lives in.
This man lives in
Yeah.
this neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this family friend, he's an aeronautics engineer.
Oh, what is that?
He
Yes,
he basically designs. He doesn't design the aircraft, but he makes the radar
Okay.
on aircrafts. Basically, that thing that goes at the very point of the jet.
Obviously.
So he designs that, the radar.
Yeah.
And he worked in the late 70s and early 80s in the Skunk Works program.
Oh, okay.
So the Skunk Works program was when the government
He's
designed.
explaining, Cruz. He's explaining.
Yeah, I'm explaining.
That's why I'm making those faces because I'm like, okay.
For
explain.
individuals like you who don't know history.
For viewers,
Can
like
you go a little bit more dumber?
Viewers like you. This ain't Reading Rainbow, all right? You get left behind. Sorry.
Paid by sponsors from PBS.
Yeah. By Bill and Melinda Gates.
Yes, exactly.
And fools like you.
Oh. Oh, my childhood.
So this guy worked in the Skunk Works program, and what the Skunk Works program is that it's when they design all the stealth aircraft that we have today. So this is back then they was designing the F-22, which we use right now, which was super top secret.
So at that time, he was one of the few that knew.
Yeah, he was one of the few that knew, and you had to be like one of the top secret people in the country to know about this. Yes, literally had to have a key card. So he worked on shit that wasn't released till 10 years ago.
Yeah. He's like, some guys like in the news, like, whoa, look at that. He's like, what a show. I knew that long
exactly.
time.
When they released the F-22, like showing it, he was like, ha, I knew about this shit for 30 years.
This is old.
This is old to me. Come on.
Yeah.
So this is how secretive it is.
Yeah.
And he mentioned to me, he doesn't, here's the thing, he never gets specific because he's still getting checks from the military.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So he never gets specific. And
we're not going to be hearing a knock at our door later on.
I know, right? This is FBI.
Oh, damn.
So, and again, he told me, he even told me, like, I'm not, what I'm telling you right now is not top secret. It's just stuff that I'm allowed to tell you.
Yeah.
Because he's speaking in generalizations. And
riddles, huh?
Exactly. Riddler. So since he worked on that program, he said he worked in Area 51 for a while.
Oh yeah,
Man,
cool,
the
yeah,
Area 51.
Oh yeah, that's normal, right?
Dreamland.
Really relaxed.
Well, Will Smith bunks and Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goldblum was there.
That was cool.
He was basically Goldblum.
All right. Five.
So he worked, like, this was like during the 80s, Reagan era.
By the way, Carlos is a real person, folks, so he's not a make-believe character.
I might get assassinated.
Yes.
So, and again, I'm someone who, like, who's...
Skeptic.
If someone says, I saw a UFO, I'm like, 9 out of 10 chances it was a balloon.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It could be a droid now.
But, you know, again, I'm always like, maybe there is a chance.
Yeah.
So this guy says he worked at Area 51 during the 80s. Again, he didn't tell me when. He was just speaking in generalizations.
Yeah.
And he lived in Vegas.
He's like, here or there or now, I was around the 51.
He or she or whomever this was.
he was breeding in Dr. Seuss's time.
Exactly.
Okay.
He lived in Area 51, and he would take...
He lived in Vegas, you mean?
Yeah, he lived in Vegas. Yeah, exactly.
Bunk bed next
next to the aliens.
next to fucking Kennedy's head.
Nixon's head.
Nixon's head.
Yeah.
No, Walt's head.
Walt's head. Hey, aliens!
Meet people.
Meet people. That's what they were developing. They were cloning Cuban children.
All right, nice.
So he would take, every day he worked there, he would take a flight from Vegas to Area 51, because Area 51's an Air Force base.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like, that was like their bus. It would take them, and then it would take them back home at the end of the day. And he told me that given the size of the base, because there were only like, 20 people on the plane, given the size of the base, he was like, wait a minute, there should be more people here.
Oh.
And he found out that the reason was because he would land. He would take, his people, the people they worked with, were only allowed to go through a certain entrance during a certain amount of time, take a certain elevator that only took them to a certain amount of floors. And everything beyond that...
Floors down?
Yeah, floors down.
So, 51 is underground.
Well, I wouldn't say, like, I don't want to make it think like it's Raccoon City down there, but you know.
Yes.
But you know, like
It's Raccoon City.
Yeah, but they worked underground.
That's all I need to know.
But the elevator they took only took them to certain
levels.
floors. Yeah. And he says that, like, they were not allowed to speak to anybody. Like, just the way it was set up, like, okay, you're scheduled and the paths you take is so that you will never run into anybody else who works on any of the other levels. So he told me he worked on, again, radar stuff. All he told me was it was some advanced shit that
he's ever seen.
That he's ever seen, and that was the normal stuff.
So he's seen stuff.
We were working on the baby stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I heard people, like, again, we don't know what it was, but we heard stories because, you know, the level of secrecy that was there. And, like, for them to cut him off from that.
Yeah, because he's working on something that is still being used in high tech for our standards, right? A jet. And then for people, like, oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Can you handle this little thing on our shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, and supposedly he told me once when he was in Vegas. I was like 14 when he told me this, but I was all into it. Cause I was like, oh, tell me more without getting us arrested by the FBI.
Yeah.
He told me once he met somebody in Vegas who said he worked there.
I was drinking a couple shots.
And he was like, he asked him like, oh, what's the layout of the Air Force Base? He was like, oh, it's like this, and we go through this entrance, and it's like, okay, you check out. And he tells him like, oh, we're working on some weird shit. And again, he didn't tell me what it was.
He just told him.
Yeah.
God damn it.
No, he didn't tell me.
Yeah, but he told him.
He told him, and he says like, dude, they got some shit in there that would blow people's minds. But again, he says like, I worked on the baby shit.
Yeah.
I worked on the shit
a little person.
That's considered normal.
Yeah,
it's like the stuff that they were dealing with, God knows.
Like for like at that time when he showed that jet, that was advanced stuff.
That was like
for people's heads.
Yeah, that blew people's minds.
So imagine what he was told that they were working on down there.
Imagine what he's not allowed to tell me.
It's creepy.
That's tight.
That's tight. Makes you wonder.
That explains. That adds just more to, and the fact that you know someone that from somewhere.
Yeah.
And just, whoever you know that worked there, and that's tight.
The guy's retired and he lives comfortably.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to work another day in his life.
Yeah.
Like, he's set.
Oh yeah, the guy made a
Like,
jet.
Yeah,
he works on the jet.
He's set for life. Like he doesn't have to worry about bills for the rest of his life.
I'll talk to you later more about that.
Let's rob him.
No, what are you talking about? Our
I
first
can do
crime.
that. I can do that.
This is incriminating.
Ah, is it? Okay.
That I just found that interesting and like.
That was amazing. Dude, you told me you've told me this story? I would have remembered.
I have.
When did you tell it to me?
It was probably when we were like still in college.
Probably, man. That's a long time ago.
And it's a
We're not that
problem.
old.
This was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
All right, that was great. I love the story. Is that all it? Or?
For the most part, yeah.
The
For the
large
most part,
part
yeah.
to be continued. Speaking of the weird and abnormal, Cruz,
Yes.
your story. What do you got for us? What did you find interesting this whole entire week that we have?
The whole entire week we've been off.
Yeah.
The urban legend of the black-eyed children.
The Black Eyed Peas.
Oh yeah. All right, Cruz. Please tell us more about the black-eyed the black-eyed children.
Well,
The Black Children.
it kind of relates to Carlos's.
Oh no. They're good kids. Anyways, it relates to Carlos's.
It relates to Carlos's.
Also, this is connected to his story.
Somewhat.
You see, the guy who I was talking about right now
Yeah.
cloned these children.
No. That guy you were talking about he's talking about the guy he talked to. That
Yeah,
we were working
he was-
with.
Screw the MCU. This is the most
my
ambitious crossover.
It's a small world. Cruz, please tell us about that.
The black-eyed kids.
It's called black kids.
Black-eyed kids.
Racist.
Then they turn 10 and it gets scary.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Are described as pale-looking kids with black eyes, pitch black, no white, no nothing, just black.
You know, I'm picturing like the Children of the Corn
Like black-eyed.
with just black eyes.
Like
maybe.
black-eyed peas. Like the actual peas, black-eyed peas. They're a food. It's a food. It's a food.
So Cruz.
I'll continue on with my story.
Yeah. Don't let us interfere like we interfered in Carlos's.
They've been around since the 80s, but they didn't make a big hit to 1996.
Beatles?
Well, I mean,
you're making us sound like they're all bad.
I mean, big hit. I'm like, they were
a big hit.
This guy's like, very poor choice of words.
Yeah.
They were a hit.
They didn't make it big.
They didn't make any sales
Big.
until now.
They've
hired
been heard
Paul
of
McCartney.
since 86.
Well, what are they? What are they?
Yeah.
What are they?
Nobody knows what they are.
So
But
But what are they? Are they just
like what are they that you're talking about? Like what are
people think they're aliens.
Okay.
And why they say they're aliens is because back in Vermont, there was an
What year?
it had to be in the 90s. Around the 90s.
No. But what I'm asking, like, it's just kids with black eyes.
Kids with black eyes.
But what are they?
So
what
like,
are they-
when
what
do
they
people
know?
see them? Like, what?
That's why I'm gonna get to the story.
Yeah, man. Wait, dude. Jesus, I've been listening.
Oh yeah.
Pick up your black kids or whatever you're talking about.
So these kids have been seen to be hitchhiking, or out of the middle of nowhere,
I love the hitchhiker. Sorry.
or they just show up to your door randomly and knock and ask for permission to come to your house. They look like regular kids.
Just with black eyes.
Black
right?
eyes.
Is this like in rural areas mainly?
No. Here in the States.
Why? Why here?
Here in the
I mean, it's
States,
being hit
but like in the wooden areas.
That's
being-
why, like
yeah.
the rural
It's
areas.
just being Ohio.
Ohio. So one of the main stories that brought up the black eyed kids into fame was elderly couple in Vermont. They lived alone.
Oldly?
Elderly.
Elderly. I thought
Elderly.
you said oddly.
No, elderly.
Okay, it would be oddly.
They were just sitting in their living room, or minding their own business, when they heard a knock at the door.
Mhm.
They go and they answer the door and they see these two kids.
I know.
They didn't notice the eyes. They just noticed two kids. They're out in cold and everything. And they asked, "Can we come in? Our parents will pick us up shortly." So the couple look at each other like, "Okay, we can't leave these kids out in the cold." So they let the kids in. They sat them down on the couch. the wife goes and makes some hot cocoa while the husband's asking questions, and the kids are not answering these questions.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the husband starts bleeding from the nose, but they didn't connect it to the kids. He just started bleeding from the nose. One of the kids asks, "Oh, can I use your telephone?" And the other one asks, "Can I use your restroom?" So they point them out where these locations are at, and as soon as the kids left, the lights go off, and they get scared, and they go looking for the kids, and they find the kids standing in the middle of the hallway, just not moving, just staring at them.
Would you play with us, Danny, forever?
And they noticed that their eyes were pitch black. Then the husband started getting a headache, bleeding from the nose again.
Oh, is that where you think they got the what is it, the one Stephen King's?
Well, this is after. The story he's telling us takes place after the movie came out.
No, there is an older version of
Which one?
the kids with the white hair, not the
Children of the Corn.
Not Children of the
no.
Corn, you fool.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's somewhat.
The one with Superman comes out.
Yeah, almost.
But that was a remake of the other one.
Yeah.
Children, is it Children of the Dam or something?
Children of the Dam, I think.
Yeah, there you go. There you talk to me about I know my horror.
And then they notice that a car pulls up, and the lights are blinding. They're like those stupid lights that blind
I
you.
ran into a dude like that. Bastard trying to kill me.
And two men, tall men, all in black hat, black glasses, black suit. The men in black show up to the house, and these kids run out, get in the car, and these people leave. But ever since the kids left, they've been seeing crop circles, animals have been dying, their cats have died, and the husband got skin cancer. Hence the headaches. So they're saying that these kids are extraterrestrials.
Or maybe science projects.
Or science projects that escape Area 51 and are running around, and the men in black come and collect them and take them back.
Maybe. Very interesting. Is that all, sir?
And it was famous here in the U.S. until it made its way to the U.K., where they started seeing them in foreign lands doing the same thing.
So they're mostly picking on like older folks, people with they live far areas of the
hitchhikers,
city,
gas stations.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Where these stories always take place.
Yes. Nessie came about in
Lassie!
Yeah. Nessie, not Lassie.
Oh, Nessie.
Nessie, swamp monster.
I didn't get that
Lizard.
reference.
Nessie's the Loch Ness.
That's why I said lizard in the ocean.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs. This is a ASMR video, remember? Anyways, okay, is that
Nessie's Scottish.
Yes, top of the moon to you, lads.
That's what I got for the Black Eyed Kids. They did a movie on them in 2012, but it was like a direct-to-DVD film.
Oh, should have got an Oscar.
Should have got an Oscar.
All right, is that all?
You want me to go with the second story, or want to go with yours next? And then
I thought we're just doing back and forth. Have some of
His is so good. It can't wait.
No, let's go with yours.
I can't wait for you.
Damn.
God damn. Let's go with yours.
Well, speaking of backwood era type of areas, this is the story of the Phantom Killer. Basically, the Texarkana murderers. Basically, this. By the way, I found it interesting how the name came about. Basically, from like how it all together Texarkana. Basically, Texas, and it's between Texas and Arkansas.
Yeah.
So like the mid.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't it like borderland?
Yeah, and then Louisiana comes in, but no one really wants to add it to Louisiana. You know how ridiculous the name was?
Texas.
Louisiana. Yeah. Apparently it was during the whole railroad thing where people from this west side and south side came about, and then that place connected. And pretty much that's how they got Texarkana.
Here's a scary story. Gamby's teaching us history.
Oh, I like to educate the fans, But this actually took place in the 1946. It took literally from February the 22 to May the 3. It was basically 10 weeks. May the 3rd, yeah. So it was like a 10-week gap, span.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during those 10 weeks, all hell was going like around Texarkana. Basically, it started off spring of 1946. We have our first kind of victims, but they're survivors as well. Basically, two young kids couple go into obviously a secluded area in the road somewhere over there.
I've seen this movie.
If you've seen it, basically starts off like that. It's like that's the best part. sucks, but I said it like that. It starts off like a horror movie, but without it being a horror. I mean, that's how you get ideas from movies like that.
Yeah.
Also, movies like that, but from stories like that. Basically, they were all doing the nasty, or they wanted to do nasty, and a man came up with a basically a bag, like a potato sack hood, and basically, you know, cut out eyes. Jason, you're basically Jason Part 2, if you know that. Comes out, time to exit the vehicle. At first they thought, hey man, you got the wrong vehicle. He's like, no, come outside. Pulls both of them outside, tells the dude to drop his britches, and then basically has the girl turn around, and the girl thinking like, oh man, he's dead. She hears like bam, bam, like gunshots. But apparently that was his skull fracture. He hit him that hard with a pistol. Just, man. He tells the girl to run, girl, the killer. She runs off. And then she runs into a road where she sees an abandoned car. And then she runs into the killer again. Killer's like, why didn't you run? And she's like, you told me to. He's like, liar. And then he sexually assaulted her. Both of them lived. But that was the first 2 victims of the Phantom Killer. And at first, it wasn't publicized as much. I don't think they just thought it was a regular random attack. So the second time, that was his first 2 killings. Basically, almost did the same thing. He basically shot the boyfriend, and he killed the girl outside in the car. So it just like I said, no one was. That's when everybody
was connected. It goes to different.
Yeah, now it was like, whoa, something happened. Yeah, because there was a gun involved.
Yeah.
They had a kind of like the bullets.
Yeah.
Basically, which was I believe it was it not a 22? What's the other one, Carlos? Like a 32, right? Is it
32,
yeah, that was a 32.
That's
big.
Yeah. So after that, basically leads off to another killing. Basically, this couple, another couple of friends, happened again, and then the last one. And like I said, it was going through the weeks and stuff like that. And at one point, it was just kind of like Texas was like had bounties on it. Texarkana, they put $500. And back then, $500 was
a lot.
A scoop. Yeah, if you knew anybody. I think one of the most interesting one was the last one. One of the last killings was that, and because we had a survivor this one, because the first 2 were survivors. There was 8 attacks during that. People believe the last attack wasn't necessarily the Phantom Killer, but they kind of put it in there because it fell in that whole weak structure. So they kind of just said, like, the story was wife, husband at their home. Wife was just kind of already going to sleep. Husband was just chilling watching TV, and then like wife hears a noise, and she thought she heard like a glass break, but it wasn't glass break. It was a gunshot. She goes up to the living room, checks on her husband, like, hey, what's going on? Sees her husband standing, and then he just slouches back on the couch, and then she notices when she goes up to him, the pool of blood in the back of his head. So he basically capped him in the head 2 times. Pop, pop. So when she checks the area, she's gonna call the cops. The Phantom through the door shoots her in the face 2 times. One in the cheek and one below the lip, I think, above the lip. And basically she's like still alive. She's still like, what the hell? So she's doing like a cat and mouse thing where she's running around the house, blood everywhere. The killer's just like trying to get at her. And then she runs out of the house, through all that, runs to her brother-in-law's house, and she lives. And then after that, he disappears, like the Phantom, which is crazy. Like during this time, is like they couldn't even find out who was it. They're suspicious of 2 people. One was with college students that apparently he said I did them, but he committed suicide. So he left a suicide note, and he's like, oh, it was me. A lot of people feel that kind of BS because if it was you, why didn't you leave the evidence or anything? It was just like a note. Yeah. It was just, I think he's just trying to take credit, but apparently they said he had a lot of connections. So Texarkana is not a big place. So I mean, you run into everybody by now. Everybody has connections. Then there was this other dude. I remember they're like, oh, this guy, he stole cars, and all the cars at the killer apparently were stolen. But it's like, dude, you just probably caught. And then the only reason they were saying that was because his wife was a snitch, or his girlfriend at the time was a snitch. She was. Because they caught her with the stolen car that he stole. And they're like, tell us where'd you get this? And then she's like, oh, yeah, he's the killer and this and this. There was a moment where the story did connect because they found an evidence that only certain people knew. But you know how that goes. Yeah. So they never necessarily found the killer, and I feel that I find that interesting because you notice that near earlier times during our it happens a lot. Like right now, I'm gonna bring up another killer. Like back when you don't really have much evidence to not evidence, but what would you call it? Like
circumstances.
No, not circumstances. Like enough technology to help you out.
Criminal science is really new.
Exactly. So it's crazy now. I mean, I'm pretty sure nowadays it's still hard to find people, but back then, man, it was.
I mean, it's like, imagine they give you a wrench that doesn't work. It's still a lot easier than not having a wrench.
Yeah. So I mean, I find it interesting that and he's infamous already. Like he's in Texas. He's one of the most famous, like kind of serial killers they got.
It's their Zodiac.
It's their Zodiac. Yeah, to California or to San Francisco. But yeah. I was gonna do Zodiac, but I feel like Zodiac is like a whole thing himself.
That's a whole episode.
That's a whole episode on his own.
You'll be like Charlie.
Like it's funny because I think Jack the Ripper was the original type of like big head honcho like serial killers. Celebrity serial killers, and then Zodiac came after because I feel like he was the one that trying to get like, oh here, teasing the police, stuff like BTK and all of them kind of want like they really love the attention, and with the Phantom it wasn't. It was just like, no, I'm just doing random killings because I feel like it in a way. Well, obviously he was doing couples.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where sheriffs were doing disguise.
But there was no connection because he went from. Was there an age range?
They were saying they were all teens.
And then
the last couple was suspicious because they were older people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think just I don't know if he had a motive. It was just couples, so they could have fell in that couple range where it's just,
there's always a pattern.
Yeah.
Never argue with the data.
But if you're a smart killer, you could always just disrupt the whole. Exactly. But I'm not saying that because I'm not. But I'm just saying.
We don't have a plan.
But anyways, I kind of find it interesting, these things. Like, it sucks. People died. But you always have an interest of, like, things. Like, how would you get away? How did they think about it? Why would they think? What leads to them to snap? It's just...
I mean, this is like, somewhere that's, like... It's something we're not used to because we live in the city.
Yeah. You're used to hearing someone got shot by somebody.
No, but back in the 80s, remember we had Richard Ramirez.
But like this is something.
That's what I'm saying. But that was back in the 80s. So.
No, but like we live in a city. Like if somebody attacks you, you can run outside and scream, and someone will hear you.
Yeah.
Out there,
it's
you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's something that we like as city slickers we don't understand.
And then Richard Ramirez would attack elderly too. So sometimes some of those didn't really have a chance to go out and like help. Some of them were just old and they're like a good hit to the face, they're down.
They're dead.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this was very interesting. Like it was out open type of things.
There's a lot of places that even to this day is the Wild West.
Yeah.
Like you're out there by yourself.
People take advantage of that.
Yeah. It's a surprising amount. Like again, it's like something as city people we don't understand.
Yeah.
But there's places.
Like were there cameras? Were there this? Yeah. Did no one see anything?
There's places in this country in this state that are just devoid of life.
Yeah, and those are the places that a lot of people, like I said, even Jeffrey Dahmer, they got away with stuff like that. John Wayne Gacy, just secluded, even like not areas, but areas like homes that didn't really have all those standards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that thing cast my interest. I think I've always been interested in these type of serial killers because their motives. Could be they have a motive, but the way they're just like surveilling the place and just like what the hell. And then if you don't get caught, it's crazy.
It's like to get to.
Like how they always said, you're called a criminal only if you get caught.
Yeah.
Like to snap, I get it. Like to someone to snap it. Like I could understand that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they stand how someone could snap and make the decision to kill someone.
Yeah.
Not saying I did have but to still be in that thought process and like you said to stake something out.
Yeah.
To come up with a plan that to not get caught. Like that takes some effort right there.
Yeah.
That takes the mind of a real someone
you can't really call them psychotic or anything.
Yeah.
Like there is a term for them, but you can't really call him like that crazy person.
We've all had those thoughts of smashing our boss's face in at one point, but the thing is that goes away, or at least I hope. But they stay in that process and that train of thought.
They hold it
through the planning, and that's something. And obviously, this person did that and didn't get caught, so they must have been a really unstable, functionally unstable.
I mean, my thought of this was like the way. I think when he stopped, was he knew this was getting hot when he started noticing police more and this, and then he basically was like a smart gambler. He just took his chips and went home.
Yeah.
He stopped betting. He stopped playing.
so no, I'm gonna get caught.
Yeah.
He left while he was off.
Yeah. And it's true because after that, everybody, which is weird because after that it took a couple. Literally, it said that it took 2 months after people got over it. Like people stopped really like, oh, okay, that was but it still shook people during those 10 weeks. That was probably the longest 10 weeks for like some people.
I could see that happening.
That was like a year almost to them, like trying to like avoid areas and stuff like that.
Being alone.
Yeah. But anyways, who's next?
I'm sure once this cronies thing is over, we're gonna go back to normal.
Yeah.
We're gonna forget that for like a good 6 months we
That's
were
true.
yeah.
Like masks and stuff like that. There's times, like I said, there's times I'm like, all right, get this over and off of me.
Get over it.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure once they take the warnings away, we're gonna go back to normal.
Yeah.
It's like it's
as soon
funny.
as they open the theaters, I'm going in.
Yeah.
Good.
It's funny how your brain can go from literally wartime to just normal, like in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like people have done that. Like
That's
people
true.
while they were getting bombed in London, they were like, I'm getting a beer right now. Forget, I don't care. We're getting bombed.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. All right. You guys, anything else? You guys. I mean, not anything else, but I mean, who has a tale to terrors? Carlos, you got another one, or yeah?
I think Cruz has another one.
All right.
So Carlos didn't get his second topic.
I did get my second one.
Yeah, he
Then
probably has a
next.
better one than you.
Then have him go next.
What about you?
You want me to go next?
I'll let you go next.
I'll go next.
Okay, Carlos, go next. Jesus, everybody.
I'm just trying to be nice to Cruz.
I know, man.
No, because mine's a little too similar to his.
Whose?
Yours.
Well, then just go with it then.
Okay.
We're talking more about
Keep on the serial killer.
serial killers.
So I've been saying 25 years later, it's not known to be true or fake because it's an urban legend. Back in 1965, a mentally ill person escaped the ward. He was missing a hand.
Bless you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. Yeah, it's only human.
He was missing a hand, and they called the cops. The cops did the whole broadcasting on the radio. Don't be out.
Was that though true though? Or was that the urban legend? The cops.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Somebody did escape, and they did count him. But then that's when but this person said this, and this person said that.
Yeah.
And they know how it evolves.
Mm-hmm.
So they go on the broadcast. Don't be late out at night. Somebody escaped.
Yeah.
Where is this?
This is various locations.
Various locations.
Oh, I know that city.
But do they have like an origin story of where you started, man? Let's say in the middle of the country. I like that. That's
Denver.
Denver. It's like
This is where
Colorado.
We could go to Chicago, Illinois, where they have
Candyman.
a lover's
Denver.
Okay, Denver.
a lover's parking, whatever, where they go and park.
Oh, so it'd be mountaintops, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah, they could do Hollywood.
Or Texarkana.
When did this happen?
Texarkana. Like mine's Texarkana. It's the same place.
Columbus.
Ohio.
This happened in 1955.
Okay.
So back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
It smells.
So this patient that escaped was missing a hand, and before they caught him, he had a hook. So there's very different tales of the story where there's a couple in the car. The man wants to get frisky. The girl's like, "Oh, I don't know. Should we get frisky here?"
I've seen this movie.
And they the guy's like, "Okay, well, let's go home." Tries to turn on the car, and the car doesn't turn on. So he's okay. Wait in here, lock the doors. I'll be back with gas. So the guy leaves, and she starts hearing knockings on the roof. but she thinks it's a branch. Then she's like, no, what is it? So she gets down from the car, looks on the hood, sees the escaped person on the hood with the hook in the boyfriend's head. And his nails are what are scratching the car. Other versions are that she gets out of the car because the boyfriend's taking forever, and as she starts walking to the road, she sees the guy with the hook holding her dead boyfriend or holding his head.
So no matter what, it's always the boyfriend dead and
No. There's other scenes where
he's alive.
Uh,
Thank God.
the boyfriend's alive. He comes back to the car with the gas, and the girlfriend's mutilated, deformed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
There's other stories where both couples make it. The boyfriend drops off the girlfriend at home. As he's walking to the car, he sees on the passenger side the hook.
Oh, I've seen this, The Simpsons. No, yeah, but I heard that one. The hook on the hand. So, like someone was trying to get
in.
I heard one version where she gets out and it's her boyfriend hanging above and it's his legs
dangling. That's another version.
What?
Yeah, so he hangs him.
My fifth grade teacher told us this story.
Oh, yeah.
And then another
This
version.
is a well-known story, then. But you've heard it.
Another version of it is the boyfriend leaves, she knocks out, and when she wakes up, she sees a deranged man looking at her through the window, and she locks all the doors so she thinks she's safe. He puts the boyfriend's head into the window, and he's dangling the keys, and nobody knows what happens to her.
Dangling what keys?
The car keys.
Oh.
So she locks the car, thinks she's safe, and then...
Oh, okay.
And she goes all...
Oh, I seen this like in Scream.
And she goes all Jamie Lee Curtis on him.
Oh, yeah.
Which this basically produced I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, the hook hand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's crazy how like myths, stories, urban legends like that could create such a big
pop culture.
Pop culture. I mean, it's always funny to know that you can make something big out of a little
Something small.
Most movies are like just some producer seeing something little and going, that would make it.
That's how Jeepers Creepers was made. It was just a story about a old elderly couple seeing a strange man in like with coats and stuff, like in a church, like dumping things, and they're like, "What the hell?"
And then when they go investigate the church, they find bodies in the.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, the story I heard is.
Okay, I'll go with Cruz's story because after that, my mind goes.
So that's how From Dusk Till Dawn got made. Robert Rodriguez just wanted to make a movie about stripper vampires, and that blew up into a whole thing.
Maybe did cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. A little thing, just cocaine.
Yeah.
Dude, stripper vampires.
Yeah.
And we got a movie.
So that is almost.
So the couple drives past the church, and they see somebody throwing bags down a well, and it looks like a body. They keep going. They call the cops. The cops show up to the church. Ends up that the bags were bodies, and they caught the guy that was doing it. It was a husband that killed his wife and some of their neighbors.
Oh, some of their neighbors.
Yeah.
Some of them.
All right. So but is that all your story then?
Yeah, that's all my story. The
well, if anything, we could just jump to another serial killer. I'll just Carlos will tell his last. If anything, I think Carlos.
Keep it rolling.
Is it a good one?
Well, we got a theme going on with
Yeah.
serial killers.
So I might as well. I think this one everybody could jump in, right? Because the
Yeah,
one I'm going to tell, everybody kind of just knows about it.
We all have our
Conclusions. So this is about Jack the Ripper. You guys.
Who's that?
Your mom.
It's Jim Gordon. Batman got him.
Anyways, Jack the Ripper, man, like everybody knows the story. Basically, man who was killing during the 1880s around
right?
east.
Prostitutes, right?
Prostitute, yeah, east of London. What is it? Whitechapel, England. Basically, he was the man who just apparently hated prostitutes, or just found them as the most easiest kills. I've always believed in.
Nobody cared for them.
At that time, it seemed like nobody did.
Well, I mean, 1800s London, that's somewhere where literally the streets were packed with people.
Yeah.
You could kill somebody and just...
You walk away and just, no one would say anything.
That's how it was back then. London back then was just
dirty.
Ridiculously crowded.
Yeah.
But he waited till late at night to do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was even that you would get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, people that were eyewitness could say they hear screaming coming out, and whoever came through that area, they'd say, "Oh, look, this is how this person looks like." But every time people would describe the Ripper, they described him as how he looks with his top hat, black hat, his trench coat,
Rowdy dressed.
yeah, and then his little. Some people saw him with a mustache. So man, it was classy apparently.
I'm telling you, it's Jim Gordon.
His first kill was basically Marianne Nichols. For his first kill, he slit her, cut her throat, and then she took she cut her a wound was it, Jack? Something like that.
The womb.
Yeah, cut open the womb.
He was very, very methodical with his killings.
Basically, people during the second killing, they kind of realized. I think it was a third killing. They realized that this man knew what he was doing when he was killing the women. He was basically like if he basically knew medical skills, and a lot of people were just kind of like, what the hell? And there were, like I said, 8 killings. But remember back then, like 8 killings in previous times, they're like, what the hell? Even the commissioner of that branch resigned because he couldn't catch him. Constable. But I mean, a lot of people had speculations and stuff like why, whom. There was many suspects, right? Many suspects. Even to this day, people still think they know who it is.
Some of them are reasonable. Some of them are just.
Yeah.
What didn't they believe it was the royal doctor?
No, that's the movie. I think.
That was the movie.
Yeah, From Hell.
Yeah.
From Hell. That's from which they actually From Hell came about. Basically was a prank letter from supposedly Jack the Ripper, which stated "From Hell." The letter was from hell, and it said that it was just basically clowning on the police, like ha ha blah blah blah. But it was just the press trying to get like more sizzle. Basically, people were enjoying what was going on.
Even back then, there was his mass hype over the news.
Yes, basically, yeah. Plus, back then, everybody was reading again, right? Or everybody started barely reading or something. Illiteracy was a thing or something.
Well, newspaper was the main thing.
Yeah, right? Something like that. Something I heard. Something on YouTube. I was Googling and I heard that. But anyways, yeah, a lot of people were saying that Cruz was like, damn, that was my clue from hell.
There was.
No, but the closest thing to what Cruz was saying was the prince, right? From at that time, basically, was said that he got syphilis, and that made him crazy apparently, and he started killing off. No, he started just having, what was it that he started having sex, and then like the queen went to go and have them get murdered in a very dirty, devious way. That's how a lot of people. That's why I think Cruz, where you got the doctor, the medical doctor. That's where I think you might get him, because in the movie From Hell, he does work for the
Royals.
There's a royal thing where he works for them, and then I remember at the end, like they do him dirty, like, all right, we're done with you.
Well, I gotta remember the Royals were the reason they're in power.
Yeah, but yeah, the guy got away, 8 kills. I mean, every single one got worse and worse. Like he would just mutilate. The last one that he did was just like the whole house, the whole room was covered with everything. Body parts and stuff like that. People who were there to see it the first time, they're like, I can't describe it. I can't tell you what I saw. It's something I'll ever see.
Something out of Hellraiser.
Yeah, something from hell. Yes, but we could talk about the suspects, I guess, Carlos. One of them was the prince. The other one was a known guy that lived around there, who lived with the last girl who died. He worked at a fishing dock. We were talking about it. Yeah. That like Cruz was kind of disagreeing with us, but we said because he deals with fish, you had to cut fish. Mm-hmm. You kind of know how to slice people up, especially if you read a couple books.
Well, I mean, human flesh is not that different from animal flesh.
Yeah.
If you can cut that, what else can you cut?
Exactly. So I mean, this one, the fisherman story was that he liked this girl, the last girl that died. Her name was
Mary Jane Kelly.
Mary, was it?
Yeah, that was the last victim, supposedly.
Okay, supposedly, let's go with Mary, right?
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Mary Kate and Ashley. Mary was basically this guy had a thing for Mary. They were roommates, and basically he was like, "Hey, stop this prostituting now! Don't turn on that red light, girl." You know. And she was so. In order to that, he would work with the fishing docks and stuff like that. But I think he said his first killing was first ones to scare her off, and then once he lost his job as a fisherman, she started working back that red light district, and then he's like just trying to kill as many prostitutes to scare, not many, but like some to scare off her from doing it. And then apparently she was just not interested in him for some reason, so he's like, all right then. let's see, and then he ends up killing her, and that's one. Well, that's what one of the suspects was, right? The other one was what's another one? Carlos, you knew about another one?
Just the prince.
There is one also, the one that fell in the lake, right? There's one, I forget his name. I think he was one of the first suspects. His name was Montego Druitt. Basically, he was he had problems. They said he was like a sex fiend or something like that. And I remember they were saying that they they found his body after 10 days after the last body was found. So that's why they suspect it was him.
The killer's dead. That's why there are no more killers.
Yeah. And it was funny because in Shanghai Nights, they literally have Jack the Ripper come out and trying to kill one of the girls, one of the main girls, well, not the main girls, but one of the actors. So, yeah. And then she literally kicks the shit out of him, and he falls into the river, and that's the end of Jack the Ripper.
Inside
So a lot of people suspect that might be him too, but yeah. Sex fiend. But like I said, there's a lot of people that think, oh, this person did it and this person did it. But even people on YouTube, I've seen, they're like, one video says, oh, we know who it is. And then they're like, no, he might be, but he's not.
It's like the whole, there's no way to know conclusively. You can only kind of guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And come to a logical conclusion. But I mean, no one has evidence.
Yeah.
No one has evidence. You can't. Unless you go back there.
And then people, there's one suspect that they thought they got him because they apparently bought something that had blood or some DNA of him. And then they're like, oh, it could be anybody around that time. It's like, damn. Because he suffered from some mutation. And a million people there at that time suffered from some mutation.
It's like someone 100 years from now going, I think the Zodiac Killer was an American with diabetes.
Yeah.
Oh, that narrows it down.
Exactly. And that like I said, the Jack the Ripper thing too, man. They never caught him at all, and I find it interesting.
Didn't they say that he made it to America?
That was rumors. In some of the cases, yeah.
That they found
he was somebody.
Gary Brown.
Yeah, that was a kid similar to it.
Yeah.
But then again, it could have just been he made news, and the other guy's like, oh, if he could do it, then I could do it. People get inspired. People get inspired by other serial killers.
You see the chaos running today? It's just copycats.
Basically, no one's civil anymore.
You get what you deserve.
Yeah. You think we won't werewolf? But anyways, what'd you guys think of the Jack Ripper thing? Just in general, I think.
He's big. He's been to video games, movies, comics.
Well, they publicized. They made a lot of money off the name.
Yeah.
I think it's just so interesting because you can't know.
Yeah.
You can't. Even if you read all the books, you go through all the facts and statements, you can't prove it because it was 140 years ago.
And then even with all the technology we have today, all the evidence we still have, you can't use it because it's so old.
Yeah.
It's like damage.
Even if you say oh, I have DNA evidence, DNA degrades after a few years.
Yeah.
That's not evidence no more. It's it's you can't, unless you literally go back in time. There's no way for you to. I think that's kind of why people love it so much today. Mm-hmm. It's because it's so
you don't know what to do.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with it. You can take it in and be like, I don't know what to do with this because it's justice not served.
Yeah, true. But
and I think it also says to oh, that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
We're civil now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, kind of because isn't that kind of why it's a little attractive? Because it's the
Wild West.
Not
the Wild West, but the old time.
You know what they call that century in England?
What?
The Imperial Century.
The Imperial Century.
That's what they call it back then.
Damn.
Was it the Victorian?
Queen Victoria's.
Oh yeah.
But they call it the Victorian, the Imperial, because that was the peak of the empire.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing, because they were because back then London was the center of the world.
Yeah.
London was the peak of.
They were New York.
They were New York, and they were when people heard about this, this is happening in London, where they're so civilized.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were always saying oh, the barbarians in Africa and India. This is happening in the heart of civilization.
Yeah, monsters. There's monsters in the city.
Exactly. It's creepy. I think that's one of the reasons people were so into it back then. They were
People just wanted to watch something so good, just be like, "Ha, look at you."
Exactly. It was the tabloids just going like, "This is happening at the heart of civilization, the center of the world, and you're not above it."
Exactly. That's crazy. All right, Carlos. Well, you got anything good right now for us? Lay it on us.
Yes, more Area 51 stuff.
Yeah?
No.
Oh man, I was actually excited for that.
No, my last second story, it will be the Curse of Timur.
Okay. Sell me on it.
You'll like this one. You'll like it. It involves Soviets.
Ah, hey. Go for it.
So Timur was he was basically Genghis Khan 2.0.
Really?
Yeah, he basically conquered the world, conquered most of the world, and slaughtered millions of people. He's basically, he has a...
Sounds like a nice guy. I like him already.
He has like the third highest kill, fourth highest behind Stalin and Hitler.
Damn, and he's not really talked about. I don't really hear about him.
Well, this was like in the 1400s. And you gotta imagine, every one of these kills was with a knife, with a sword. So this guy literally burned down cities. It said he killed like 30% of the world's population back then.
30%?
30%.
Of the world's
population. Back then, yeah. Like, he conquered the largest empire in history. The Mongol Empire, just literally from China to Europe.
Yeah.
So this guy, he has the highest kill count of most guys.
Yeah.
So, and this guy basically, back then, India and the Middle East were the most advanced places. That's where all the science was happening. And you know what he did to it? Just burned it down. Just burned. Actually, that they say the only reason Europe was able to advance is because he burned everybody else.
Dang, so he helped them out.
He basically helped them, and he would have conquered.
He put everybody in a third world country position.
Exactly. Everybody was at an even level because he burned it all down.
What a douche.
And he was gonna do the same to Europe, but
obviously plans change.
Yeah, plans change, and you know, he died, but he was undefeated. Undefeated.
I'm assuming some bullshit ass disease killed him.
Well, he died like in his 60s, which is old back then.
Yeah.
But still. So he was buried in Uzbekistan.
Ooh.
He was buried in Uzbekistan, and his mausoleum, like, people know where he was buried. It was like, okay, and this is a national preservation.
Yeah, this man was almost killed half the world.
Yeah, he's fucking. and so they had, and it's actually a nice.
They still have, right?
Temple,
so,
yeah. Well, they were finally.
Tell me well.
They were gonna. They were like, okay, we wanna dig him up and study him, like check the DNA.
Exhume him?
Yeah, exhume him.
What
like,
made you?
like the mummies, you know, and the ones who sent the expedition were the Soviets. So this was in the 40s. So the Soviets sent them down to Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan was part of the Soviet Union, and you gotta remember, back then, that was a part of the world that was still kind of backwards, kind of like nobody goes there.
Yeah.
So they went down there to the town. To
Indiana Jones's.
2 weeks. It was literally Indiana Jones. It's part of the world where nobody knows about.
Yeah.
So they go down there to the village where he's buried, to the mausoleum, and they tell him, like, we're gonna
take a body.
Yeah, we're gonna exhume him for science. There was nothing sinister, just them just going like, oh, we just want to study it for archaeology. And then they're like, no, don't.
Yeah.
It's like that shit's cursed. It's like,
oh really?
And they're like, ha, we're Soviets. We don't believe, the Soviet Union does not believe in that.
We don't believe in witchcraft.
We don't believe
we don't believe in gypsies.
And even like the mayor of that village was like, don't do it. And it was like, we're gonna do it anyway.
You open the box.
They go to the Timur's mausoleum, and up above in ancient Middle Eastern is written, those who disturb me will unleash a greater invader than I did. Than I was.
He's exactly. A mummy from the mummy?
Exactly. So they open it up.
I hate mummies.
They read that and they open it up anyway. And you know what happens 6 days later?
Hitler.
Hitler invades the Soviet Union.
No way. They did him dirty.
This was 6 days later was Operation Barbarossa, which, by the way, to this day is the largest invasion in human history with the biggest army in history. Almost 4 million Nazi troops invaded Russia. This was the biggest invasion in human history.
What have you done?
And they were like, oh. So they opened it in 41. Right as the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union.
In 41.
41
and 41.
And
6 days after, right?
And 6 days after, the Nazis invade. And they were like, damn. And this news got to Stalin.
Oh, about that?
About that. And he was like, you put that body fucking back.
Who's stout?
Even he was like, because even he was surprised. Like, he didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Like, it said that when that invasion happened, he was comatose for like a week.
Really?
Yeah.
He was like...
He was in bed like, I didn't see this coming. And eventually they forced him like, you got to get back to work.
Yeah.
And when he did go back to work, he thought they were taking him to his office to have him assassinated. But apparently nobody wanted the job.
So they're like, here, Stalin, take it.
Take it. You need to do it. So eventually he got back to work, but he was like, oh my God, this sucks. And then he got word of that, and he was like, put that body back.
Put it back.
And when they put it back, which was in 42, almost like a year, they was a few days after they put the body back was when the Soviets won the Battle of Stalingrad.
Oh,
which
so like,
was the turning point in World War II.
Because they put the body back.
They put
Oh, wow.
I don't want to say it's because they put... But Stalingrad is one of the deadliest battles in history.
Yeah.
Like, millions died in that city. And when they put the body back, that's when victory was declared. And that was when they were finally able to start pushing the Nazis back.
How does Stalin feel about the body?
So it's back, isn't it? Thank God.
And so, is it still there?
Supposedly it's still there, yeah.
Is it visible? Is it like, no, not visible. Is it, like...
The mausoleum is still
can we
there.
go view... Like,
You can't view the body. Like, they buried
no,
that
yeah, but can we go to that place?
I think you still can. Like, it's it's like a... Tourists go
Do
there.
people talk about this often? I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of this.
I mean, I hear it a lot because I like reading about history. So
Yeah, but this is...
But it's not something that's like known a lot.
You won't see it in creepypastas.
Yeah, but it's something because I like history, so it's something I run into a lot.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like you are doing cave huntings and then all of a sudden you find like a...
Spelunking.
Spelunking, yes.
Yeah,
and then you
like...
find a giant bat. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, you normal things you do and something weird go whoosh.
Exactly.
Well, I got this good for Indiana Jones 5.
Oh,
Exactly.
That's crazy. No, it's been done. The Mummy, okay?
The Mummy, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Mummy.
I hate mummies.
You must not leash open the book.
No, do not read from the book.
That is a beautiful movie.
It is underrated.
Yeah.
Underrated. I don't know why people have a problem with that movie.
I never knew people had a problem.
They had a problem with part 3.
I think because it was super CGI at that time.
And that CGI does not hold up today.
They were like huge fanboys of like the original Mummy. They were
Oh,
like,
it was the
you made it a comedy.
The hardcore Mummy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the monster people. I was like, this is great.
It's beautiful.
I mean, me coming from watching Halloween and then watching the Mummy, it's like, I like this. This is nice.
I like this Mummy better than the original Mummy.
Yeah, well, oh yeah.
Wow!
I seen the Brandon Fraser Mummy before I seen the original.
Oh yeah. That too. That has happened to me. But I'm saying for me, like coming from a movie that's horror, like the new horror from the Mummy to this, and then watching this other movie that's like a Mummy is like the new horror. But
you can't compare them.
Yeah, you can't compare.
You can't. They're so different.
Yeah, but I still liked it. Like there were some chills in the movie where I'm like, this is good.
It's like trying to compare.
Do you think they could have? Do you think they could have made a universe right there and there?
Oh yeah.
With what?
The Mummy from the Mummy, the Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I think they could have.
They had their Abominable Snowman.
Yeah. No.
Well,
about that.
Oh, we don't talk.
You don't talk about the third one.
Okay.
Second one.
Maybe.
You could have linked the Brendan Fraser Mummy with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah. And
I hated that movie didn't get more fame because they were planning on doing that.
I heard they were gonna do a whole thing, right?
Yeah,
Universe.
You
can even do it with Van Helsing.
Dude, you could connected it from the newer Mummy, right? The
How?
new Mummy, like the connection with the book and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the book was in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they were gonna do the MonsterVerse, the first try with the MonsterVerse with that Dracula Untold.
Yeah, and then he became the thing I got mad is at the end he was like in normal and I was like, what?
Hey, I want to see Vlad the Impaler.
I wanted to see Van Helsing actually.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Not Hugh Jackman.
No. Right now, the current Van Helsing is a female.
I quit.
Which is not to say this episode was sponsored by nobody.
Have you? It's sponsored by that company that made that commercial where Hugh Jackman's butt naked.
Oh yeah.
The boot commercial.
That's hot. Did you see these boots?
You see these? Hey, what's this? Just chair made out.
Well, even in the Netflix series, the BBC Dracula, Van Helsing is a female.
There you go.
Why?
So, anyways, this was us. This is the this was us. This is the our spooky our spooky edition. Yeah, tell us what you liked. If you found any of the stories interesting. I think I have to learn how to do that timestamp. You know, like how how you could jump to stories on YouTube. I have to learn how to do that soon. So, anyways, everybody, hope you enjoyed. If you liked, dislike, let us know. Subscribe, talk to us. We're here. I will comment. I will reply to your comments.
He has no life.
I have no life. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed. That was us, Cruz, Carlos. Well, I hope you guys have a spooky season. All right, boys.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.